as a step parent, you want to be the best or do the best that you can for any child as a step parent. But can we do that? If we look at the other definition or the other use of the word step, where we come in as parents at the weekend and we go and live somewhere else, is our best going to be enough in order for the children to not feel that division, not feel that, if we're not living that unified life, the unity, if we're not actually living together, we're stepping in when we're ready and stepping out again.
I think that there's always ways that children will need and want, and that goes back to knowing each of your individual children, because sometimes some children need a lot more attention than others do, or sometimes some of them need a lot more input than others do, and it's about knowing each of your children, how you can work with them, because the thing is, brothers and sisters, and that's why we spoke about family reunion, is that we're not individuals. I'm not just a mother, full stop, and I'm the only one who has influence over my children. That's not how it goes, because children have been given a family unit so that they can get aspects of goodness or of life from each of family members. It's not just one. It's about us learning that, no, I'm not by myself, but I can call my brother, like Uncle Patrick. He's great with the boys, with football. Do you understand? They love Auntie Natasha.
Okay.
They love being around Auntie Natasha and Uncle Leroy, so they've got other people that they can go with or that they can spend time with. It's not just mother and father. It's not as isolated as that. And we have to see that. Listen, as a mother, to get a break from your child at the weekend so that you can take some time for yourself, really, we should be grateful. And for our child to be treated really well, we should be grateful, because we don't know who's going to be pinching our child, in our absence. We don't know. In this day and time where there's so much wickedness, we don't know who's going to be mistreating our children. So if we have someone who's going to treat our children well, then we need to thank God for that person. Let's go back to the definition of mind, okay? One of the definitions of mind is to tend or to look after. I was saying, mind your step, look after your step, understand the stepchild, understand what a step family is about, understand what the process is within a step family.
And does that work both ways? Mind your stepmother if you're a stepchild.
Of course. And you know what it is as well? As a stepmother, you mind the other parent. You mind the other parent.
Watch
you
out
mind
for
your
them.
sister. No, she's your sister. She's your, as like for example, like with our stepdaughter, I have to mind her mother. I have to be careful that her mother has feelings too.
Yeah, but it has to work both ways. Otherwise,
of course it does.
It's a step minded.
Yeah. And then you be a doormat with everyone stepping all over you. We don't do that, But it's about having a healthy respect, because if I know who I am and if I'm learning who I am, then ultimately I'm going to take plenty. And it may seem like I'm being a doormat, and it may seem like you can mouth off and say what you want to say, but ultimately you're going to feel bad about that, because I would never say anything about any of the mothers, because we're supposed to be working together, because you're supposed to be able to rear your child exactly the way that you want to, and I'm supposed to help you with that. We're supposed to be helping one another.
Also, how about mind the step, the mind of the step?
Right.
Analysing what's going on in the mind of the step.
And that's where acceptance comes from again. It's about accepting my role and my position as a step parent. What is a step parent? What does a step parent do? Do they treat the children all the same? Or do they treat them equally?
Or do they acknowledge that they're a stepchild?
Yeah, or do they
and try and be real?
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Or do they just keep saying or keep reminding everyone that they're just a stepchild?
Yeah.
Or I'm just a stepmother?
Yeah.
Or I'm just a step parent?
Yeah.
Like that's not as valuable as, I don't know, a biological parent or an adoptive parent. Because we're more accepting of the adoptive. Like we'll say, oh, that's just the same. Or a foster parent, oh, that's just the same, don't worry. You're doing the same position as well.
I guess, the difference between an adoptive and a step, an adoptive and a foster, these are people who have chosen the child. They have, premeditatively decided, I want you as my daughter, I want you as my son. Whereas a step is somebody who's been put into the role by way of marriage to the parent. They don't necessarily want the child. They want to be married to the mother or to the father, and the child is just like baggage that comes along with it.
See, that's the attitude. That is absolutely the attitude that we have. It's the kind of baggage,
Yeah. So,
that goes with it.
Well, can you speak into that?
But I think that's very important. And Minister Rasul, when he came here a few years ago, he spoke about it so beautifully. He said, children are astute enough to know that we didn't get in a relationship with their parent for them. They know that. And he said the best way to deal with that kind of situation is just be a friend to the child. Just build up a friendship. But what we do is we go in heavy. We adopt the attitude of a step-parent. Yeah, without being
9
qualified.
Up to bed.
Yeah, without being...
Me or your father, no.
Yeah, or your mother, as they watch it. But
It's a wicked stepfather now.
Yeah. So even that, and that's a lot more common nowadays as well.
Yeah.
Another definition of mine, which was really interesting, was to be upset about something, and that's really how we are sometimes when we see the children as baggage. We're upset at the fact that our partner has a child, or we're upset at the fact that that there's a lot involved with a child, and then sometimes we're upset at the way that the other parent handles their child, and then handles our child and treats our child a bit harsher. Yeah, like when you remember when Jay and Daniel.
Here we go. Come on, sister.
When Jay and Daniel were 1 and 2, because all of this, brothers and sisters, is all of this is determined by the ages of the children as well, because the children are a lot more flexible when they're younger, and it's a lot harder because they have their own opinions, and sometimes they've lived with their own father or they've been around with their own mother, and so it's very hard for them to adjust or to accept a stranger coming into their house and into their life. But brother Chris and I got together when the children were 1 and 2, so Jay was 1 and Daniel was 2, and it would always be really funny because I'd always get annoyed because he'd say, "Oh, leave Jay, she's only 1," and Daniel was 2. No, she was nearly 2, and he would say, and Daniel was, I think Daniel was just about 2, and he'd say, "He's nearly 3," so he so he would change it up. So again, it's about
issues, brothers and sisters.
We did, and then now we can look back at them and laugh, but we'd just frown at one another.
Right.
And I'd say you're being unfair, and you'd say I was being unfair. Again, it's about understanding like the different roles that we have to take. We may start off as friends, generally and typically what's happened, and I know this happened to me, that some man just walked into our house. He just came into our house and he just came into our life. And that was...
I mean, when you was a child.
When I was a child. Shall I say it again?
Explain it properly, sister.
When I was a child, and my dad...
Because you made it sound like some man just walked in and sat down and that was it.
Yeah, that's how it felt, actually.
Okay.